Sabbath peace.
Peace.
Another opportunity for us to come together and hear and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, to the saints watching in on the camera, saints in the chat. But no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. So last week we talked about 2 Corinthians, and we covered a plethora of topics. Some of it dealing with sorrow, right? Some of it dealing with a godly sort of sorrow, and an ungodly or worldly sorrow. And one leads to death, and one leads to life. And we covered a number of other topics. So now, y'all willing, we'll finish out the series of Corinthians, right? And we'll get through the end of 2 Corinthians. And talk through a few things. Well, we may not get through it because but we'll see. We'll see how far we get. But let's pick it up. Let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's pick up at 2 Corinthians chapter 8. 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1. Baby, can you call Candace? She calling me. Can you see what that's about? Please. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 8. We're gonna start off at verse 1.
Moreover, brethren, we do you to wit of the grace of God bestowed on the congregations of Macedonia, how that in great trial of affliction, the abundance of their joy and their deep poverty abounded unto the riches of their liberality. For to their power I bear you record, yea, and beyond their power they were willing of themselves, praying us with much entreaty, we would receive the, but first gave their own selves. We
Are you
desire
going in and out?
Titus. Huh?
Is your mic going in and out?
No. I'm good. You can't hear me?
It just seemed like you're cutting out.
Uh,
Keep going.
Insomuch that we desire Titus, that as he had begun, so he would also finish in you the same grace also. Therefore, as ye abound in everything, in faith, in utterance, in knowledge, and in diligence, and in your love to us, see that ye abound in this grace also. I speak not by commandment, but by occasion of the forwardness of others, and to prove the sincerity of your love. For
Right.
ye
So
know
notice again, yet again, Paul likes to call out when he's speaking on behalf of the Most High God versus when he's speaking like his own opinion or he's giving like, his own judgment. So he says here, he said, I speak not by commandment. Right. So that's him just saying what I'm telling you right now. This is by my own judgment, or this is by my own opinion. All right. Keep going.
For ye know the grace of our Lord Yahushua the Messiah, that though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor, that he through his poverty might be rich. And
Now, what is
herein
he talking about there when they say, though he were rich, for your sakes he became poor? What is that talking about? Right? Ain't that talking about how grab hold that. Let's go to John. Let's do John. Let's just do John 1. This is the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 1. And after that, we're gonna come right back over to 2 Corinthians. It was probably 2 Corinthians 8, verse 6 or something?
Verse 9.
Verse 9. We going to John chapter 1, verse 1, and we're gonna jump right back over to 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9. Let's see what John has to say.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and in that life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from John, whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness to that light.
Right? And who is the light? But the light got to be the Word, and the Word got to be with God, and the Word was God. Right? So John wasn't the light, but he bore witness of the light. All right, keep going. Watch this.
That was the true light, which lighteth every man that comes into the world. He
Mm-hmm.
was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came into his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the word was made flesh and
And the
dwelt
what?
among us. And the word was made flesh and dwelt among us. And we
So when
beheld
he
his
said,
glory.
when he's telling you that, you know what I'm saying, he was rich and then the man made himself poor, this is what he's talking about. Right? It's important to understand that. It's important to understand that the Most High God looks at our condition, right, as poor. Right? Just becoming a human being, a typical random human being in Nazareth, the Most High God is calling that poor, or Paul is calling that poor, right, from the perspective of the Most High God, right? And that's important for us to understand, right? It'll put certain things in context. It's not like Yahushua came here as a man and looking for all the glory of God. He didn't present himself that way. In fact, he ran from that glory. Right? When people got too close of nailing him down who he would tell people, don't say it. He ran from that glory, right? And that was because he had to make himself poor. Let's go on back. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9. 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 8. Let me see what verse 9 got to say.
For you know the grace of our master Yahushua the Messiah, that though he was rich, yet for our sakes he became poor, that ye through his poverty might be rich. And herein I give my advice, for this is expedient for you, who have begun before, not only to do, but also to be forward a year ago. Now therefore perform the doing of it, that as there was a readiness to will, so there may be a performance also out of that which you have. For if there be first a willing mind, it is accepted according to that a man has, and not according to that he has not. For I mean not that other men be eased and you burdened, but by an equality, that now at this time your abundance may be a supply for their want, that their abundance also may be a supply of your want, that there may be equality.
Right? So basically he's saying, you know what I'm saying, share what you got with everybody around you. He's saying, I'm not saying share it to the point where you make them rich and now you poor, but he's saying try to have some equality, right? Get them enough to where they equal to you and the next person is equal to you and y'all kind of are at an equal place. It's equality, right? Keep going.
As it is written, he that had gathered much had nothing over, and he that had gathered little had no lack.
right? So that's not saying that everybody has the same thing. Just everybody has what's appropriate for them, right? Because that's what he quoted there, as it is written. When he say as it is written, he's quoting, and he's quoting from Exodus, right? Is that Exodus? Grab yeah,
About
Exodus
the
16.
manna, when they was gathering the manna.
Yeah, we just read this. Grab Exodus chapter 16. Give me verse 13. It's Exodus chapter 16, verse 13. Right? He's quoting from Exodus, talking about the time when we were gathering manna, right? The Most High God, we had complained to him for food. You remember the Most High God brought the manna out of the sky. We was like, man, that thing is like coriander. What did he say? Coriander seed.
Yeah.
All right. He said, you know what I'm saying? We started looking at it. And so we had to go out every day and we had to pick it up. And on the Sabbath day, you know what I'm saying? On the day before the Sabbath day, we had to pick up enough for 2 days. Any other day of the week, that thing was spoiled. Right. If I go out today and, or let's say if I went out on Monday, you know what I'm saying, and went to go pick up manna, I get it. And if I tried to get enough to last me 2 days on a Monday, Tuesday morning, that stuff would be spoiled. It'd make you sick. Right. However, if I did the same thing on the Friday, you know what I'm saying, on a Friday before evening, if I did the same thing and I went out and gathered a whole bunch of it and I gathered enough for 2 days to take me through the Sabbath, but then that's different, right? I would keep it and it would keep until after the Sabbath because the Most High God made it that way. He made it that on the Sabbath you would be able to store it on the Sabbath and eat it later. This is Exodus chapter 16 verse 13. I just want y'all to see this so you can see the point that Paul is trying to make.
And it came to pass that at evening the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hour frost on the ground. As small as the hoar frost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, It is manna, but they did not know what it was. And
Yeah, manna
Moses
meant
said unto them,
what? You know what I'm saying? Basically, they're saying what is it's whatever it is. It's a whatchamacallit. You know what I'm saying? Kind of look at it. That's how he said it's a whatchamacallit, right? Keep going.
This is the bread which Yahuah hath given you to eat. This is the thing which Yahuah hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, and an omer for every man according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents.
Right? So every person in your house gets an omer. Right? Who got the little chart? Who got the chart handy? Somebody in the chat get the chart handy. Tell me how much an omer is. Right? Every person in the household gets an omer. Right? So now if you're keep going, watch this.
And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They
Right?
gathered
Now
every
this is
man
what
according to
Paul
his eating.
quoted. He that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. What this is talking about is every person in the household got an omer. So when you gathered it, you would gather up one omer for each person. So now he's saying the people that went out there, just imagine you got one person that gathered for the whole house, right? So the person that get out there and got 17 omers, what does that mean? That means he got 17 people in his house. And the one that gathered 2 omers, what does that mean? Well, that means they got 2 people in their house. So what Paul is trying to say here is, yeah, it may look like a person got a lot, but he's taking care of a lot, right? As long as nobody has any lack, right? So in other words, it shouldn't be nobody hungry. Some people gather a lot, some people gather a little. It looked like different, but it's actually really each person according to what they have, right? Each person according to their household. So that's the principle that he's trying to give us, right? The same principle that Yah gave us. He's saying, look, take care of your people, take care of the people in your family, and take care of the people of the faith, right? And try to make it to that each one has an omer, right? Did anybody look up that omer for me? Let's jump back over. Where we leave off, right? Because the Omer, right? You gotta understand everything for us. Grab before we go back, grab Leviticus for me. Grab Leviticus. Do Leviticus 19, right? Because the Omer is a weight, right? And the Most High God loves balance, right? That's what it is. Everything is about balance. He's you know what I'm saying. He's given us all types of principles that that uh end up being equality or end up being balanced, right? So this is Leviticus chapter 19. Jump on down to verse 35. It's Leviticus chapter 19, verse 35. Let me see what the book says.
You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meat yard, in weight, or in measure.
Right?
Just
So we
balance.
weren't supposed to do any unrighteousness in judgment, right? So that's judgment altogether. This is basically saying if something is put before you and you got to fairly decide what should happen. He said you shouldn't be unrighteous in that at all. But then he goes past judgment in terms of deciding a case, deciding a dispute, right? The next thing he says is nor in what?
In weight or in measure.
Right? Don't ever be unrighteous in weight or in measure, right? So all of us have, we're like, all of us are familiar with measures, right? You might say an inch, right? And so if I charge you by the inch, if I say, listen, you can go ahead and buy, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Buy some carpet from me, but I charge 2 cents an inch, right? And you say, okay, that's good. That makes sense. I like that. So then you think you getting the deal, but then I make my inches small, right? So my inches is really like like 3/4 of an inch, right? It's not even a full inch. It's like you split an inch in 4 equal pieces and only gave me 3 of those pieces and kept 1 piece to yourself, right? So you get 3/4 of an inch. And then that means it takes more of my version of an inch to get to an actual size that you're looking for. So you looking like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, let me get you say that's how much you charge for carpet. All right, let me get 173 inches. So I get to ringing that thing up because really my inch is not even a full inch. So you need to get more. Then you get it and you looking like, oh, that don't fit. Let me get a couple more. Right. So now you got to buy more from me because my inch is not measured right. Right. And then that's a scam because what I'm doing is I'm selling you less. It's what they call shrinkflation. Right. If you look at like cereal boxes, right? Back in the day, the cereal boxes, the regular cereal boxes was bigger, right? But then the cereal boxes just get smaller and smaller over time. Now they try to sell them for the same price, but they selling them for less, right? Or sometimes they'll take the cereal boxes the same size, but back in the day when I was a kid, when you buy a fresh box of cereal, the cereal was all the way to the top in the bag, right? Now open up a box of cereal, that thing halfway. You open it up, ain't even opened it up yet. First time you open it up, it's already halfway gone, right? That's called shrinkflation, huh?
I said chips too, bro. Them big old bags of chips you buy, they nowhere
All
near it.
air.
Yeah, buddy.
It's all air. You crack them things open, you dig your hand, your whole hand disappear trying to get a chip. The first chip, right? But that's what they do. That's what they're doing is they making you believe that you getting the same thing, but really the weight is different and the ounces is different, right? So they change they have that's an unjust measure. That's an unjust weight. And the Most High God said we couldn't do that, right? That wasn't appropriate for us to do, right? If we told somebody this is what we need, you know what I'm saying? Like this is what I'm selling, then that means that you got to come back and you have to have a just weight and a just honest balance That way you say, hey, it weighs 30 pounds. It really weighs 30 pounds. Right? It's like it's like a, it's like a, what am I thinking of? It's like a steak, right? When you go to the store and you buy a steak, you know what I'm saying? And that thing say, you know what I'm saying? This steak is 32 ounces. And you ain't gonna get no 32-ounce steak. But you know what I'm saying? Like you might get a 12 ounce. You know, it's a 12-ounce steak or something like that. So you get it and you weigh it at home, and they've been caught with selling people less steak than what they said they were selling them. So if you paying for steak by the ounce, and I tell you it's 12 ounces, but in reality, it's only 8 ounces, you get it and you don't check, that's fine. You wondering like, ooh, that wasn't enough. I like to eat a lot of steak. That wasn't enough. Most people, 8 ounces is enough steak. But some people that like to eat, they look like, man, I need a dog. I bought the 12 ounce because I know I like to eat. Right? So you got some people that sue some of these grocery stores because they'll take they package home and then they'll weigh it again. And when they weigh it, it's like, oh no, it's different. And then they'll go back and they assume them. It was false advertisement. Right? And that's what the Most High God don't like. The Most High God likes balance. He likes equality. He likes it to be fair. So that's the point that Paul is trying to make. Let's jump back over. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 8. What verse? Probably about verse 17, 18.
Verse 18.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 18.
And we have sent with him the brother whose praise is in the gospel throughout all the congregations. And not that only, but who was also chosen of the congregations to travel with us with the grace, which is administered by us to the glory of the same master and declaration of your ready mind. Avoiding this, that no man should blame us in this abundance which is administered by us, providing for honest things, not only in the sight of the master, but also in the sight of men. And we have sent with them our brother, whom we have oftentimes proved diligent in many things, but now much more diligent upon the great confidence which I have in you. Great confidence I have in you.
Look, so
There,
the sister looked up. She looked up how much an omer was. She said it came back as 2.3 liters. Right. So think of the 2-liter soda. You know what I'm saying? When you got a 2-liter soda, think how much that weighs. So each person each day got about the weight of a 2-liter soda. You know what I'm saying? Or I guess a liter ain't a weight, right? That's more of a size. You know what I'm saying? Like a volume. You know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't be necessarily the weight of a 2-liter soda. It'd be that much volume, right? In other words, you would be able to fill a 2-liter with this manna, right? So you'll be able to stick the manna inside of the 2-liter, and you'll be able to fill it with a 2-liter, and that's how much each person got, right? Each person got a omer worth of manna. Sorry about that. Keep going.
whether any do inquire of Titus, he is my partner and fellow helper concerning you, or our brethren be
Jump on
inquired
over
of.
to we're gonna skip chapter 9. Jump on over to chapter 10. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 10. Give me verse 1.
Now I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and greatness of the Messiah, who in presence am base among you, but being absent am bold toward you. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war. Are not carnal, but mighty through God, through the pulling down of strongholds, casting down
Mm-hmm.
imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of the Messiah. And
Right. This is important, right? Basically, what he's describing is fighting temptation. Right. It's important that we see temptation for what it is. Temptation is not an action, right? These are thoughts. These are things that spring up in our mind that we either dwell on or we take action. We respond to it by taking action. But what he's saying is, is he takes those fleeting thoughts that spring up in our mind, he takes them and he brings them into submission of the Messiah, right? And then by doing that, he avoids those temptations. So that's what we have to do. It's like, don't let a thought ruin your day. Don't let, because some thought comes into your head or some emotion, or I feel sad or I feel happy or I feel whatever, right? You can't let that thought rule you. That's all it is. All that emotion is, or all those are thoughts and those are spirits that's just coming inside of you, and they're using whatever you're thinking about or whatever situation that's bothering you. It uses that to try to control you, right? And you have to always bring that. You have to resist it, right? You have to, like, everything in your body is gonna tell you, oh no, I got to do X, Y, and Z, right? No, I gotta call off work today. You know what I'm saying? I gotta, you know what? Today I can't even do my reading. There's too much going on. I can't do that. Right? I'm not gonna listen to Bible study today because of whatever. I'm just too, you know what I'm saying, messed up. You know what I'm saying? You know what? I'm so happy because sometimes it's sometimes we be focusing on the negative emotions. Sometimes it be the happy ones. It be like, oh man, I just met, you know what I'm saying? I met somebody I really, really think they gonna end up being my wife. You know what I'm saying? So you know what? God ain't gonna be, you know what I'm saying? God ain't worried about me, you know what I'm saying, missing a couple days of my reading to go. You know what I'm saying? Spend some time with somebody I might spend the rest of my life with. Right. And in reality, you know what I'm saying? No, it's not a big deal. But what happens is these temptations pop up, and then you making that decision and then making the next decision ends up into a sin. Right. And that's what it's all about. It's like the first decision really ain't a sin. You know what I'm saying? But it's like the next one you end up on the slippery slope, right? That's the type of stuff that we have to bring in submission to the Most High God, right? We got to make sure that when these thoughts pop up, when these things come to our mind, when all this stuff, it's fine. It's a thought. That don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? A little thought don't mean nothing. Don't dwell on the thoughts, right? But when they come up, you acknowledge them and check them. Like, nah, that's wrong. Nah, that's wrong. That's against our law, right? That's against the Messiah. Right? Calmly. Just calmly in your head, man. Nope, that's wrong. Nope, I ain't gonna do that. Right? Nope, the plan was to do this. I'm sticking with the plan. Right. And that you'll build up the resiliency against these evil spirits that's attacking us constantly. Right? Keep going.
And having all readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. Do ye look on things after the outward appearance? If any man trust to himself that he is the Messiah, let him of himself think this again, that as he is the Messiah, even so are we the Messiahs. For though I should boast somewhat more of our authority, which the Lord hath given us for edification, and not for your destruction, I should not be ashamed, that I may not seem as if I would terrify you by letters. For his letters, say they, are weighty and powerful, but his bodily presence is weak and his speech contemptible.
Right. So he's kind of writing back to him. He's writing back to the Corinthians what the rumors are about him. He's like, I know what y'all saying. They out there talking about, oh, he talked tough in his letters, but when he come, he weak. He ain't nothing. We don't have to get it, but y'all remember back in Acts, right? Back in Acts when they saw Paul and they saw who was it, Barnabas? I think it was Paul and Barnabas. You know what I'm saying? And they thought Barnabas was I can't remember what god, but I think they thought Barnabas was Jupiter. You know what I'm saying? Which is the king of all the gods in Greek mythology or Roman mythology. You know what I'm saying? They thought Barnabas was Jupiter, and they thought I think they thought Paul was Hermes. And Hermes was the one that did all the talking, but our Hermes wasn't powerful like that. He wasn't big and powerful like that. So you could tell Paul wasn't like no big old, you know what I'm saying, bulky, attractive guy, most likely. You know what I'm saying? Paul probably looked like a little nerd. You know what I'm saying? So Paul was looking like, you know what I'm saying? I know what they say. You know what I'm saying? In person, man, he ain't about nothing. You know what I'm saying? But he be talking tough in them letters. You know what I'm saying? You can see them letters, he be talking tough. And so Paul kind of called them out like, I know what y'all thinking. Keep going.
Let such a one think this, that such as we are in word by letters, and when we are absent, such will we be also indeed when we are present.
Mm-hmm.
For we dare not make ourselves of the number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves, but they, measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise. But we will not boast of things without our measure, but according to the measure of the rule which God has distributed to us, a measure to reach even unto you. For we
Right.
stretch.
So in other words, what he's saying is, so he's going to kind of going back to the measurements. He said, I'm not boasting outside of my measure. So he said, the stuff I'm talking to y'all about, I'm not going outside of what God gave me. Right. Y'all might think I am, but he said, I'm not going outside of what God gave me. Right. Keep going. Watch this.
But we will not boast of things without our measure, but according to the measure of the rule which God has distributed to us, a measure to reach even unto you. For we stretch not ourselves beyond our measure, as though we reach not unto you. For we are come as far as to you also in preaching the gospel of the Messiah, not boasting of things without our measure, that is, of other men's labors, but having hope, when your faith is increased, that we shall be enlarged by you according to our rule abundantly, to preach the gospel in the regions beyond you, and not to boast in another man's line of things made ready to our hand. But he that glorieth, let him glory in the master. For not he that commendeth himself is approved, but whom the master commends.
Right. So he's saying, if you glory, right, if you proud, right, and you glorying, let him glory in Yahuah. Right. Because he's saying, basically what he's saying is, he's trying to make the case to them that I know y'all think I'm just talking tough. And that's because y'all probably think that like I'm going outside of my authority. Right. But he says, I'm not. He said, I'm an apostle and I was sent to y'all. I taught y'all. I baptized y'all. Right. And so he's saying, y'all are within my rule. Y'all are what God gave me. He, as an apostle, gave this to me. So I'm going within the boundaries that the Most High God set, even if y'all don't think so. He said, but even if you looked at it a different way, right, and just looked at it as, oh, Paul is just talking tough. He's like, let anybody who glories glory in in Yahuah, right? Grab Jeremiah. Let's read the whole thing because he's quoting from Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah chapter 9, verse it's either 30 something, like 35, or it's 23. And I'm gonna take the earlier, it's like 23 or 24. It's like two verses that I want. I feel like it's 23.
So Jeremiah 9.
Yeah, Jeremiah chapter 9. Let's do verse 23.
Thus says Yahuwah, let not the wise
Mm-hmm.
man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the
Right? So
rich
he's saying,
man.
don't let the wise man glory in his wisdom. So Paul is saying, I'm not outside of my bounds. Because he said, I'm not glorying in my wisdom. I'm not glorying, oh, I understand the world so much. Right? I am a master of science. Right? He said, I'm not glorying in my wisdom. And what else? He said, let not the mighty do what?
Neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not
Right? He said, I'm not glorying how strong I am, how much I can fight, how hard I can fight, how well of a fighter I am. He's like, that's not what I'm doing. How brave I am. I'm not glorying in none of that stuff. But what is he doing?
let not the rich man glory in his riches.
He said, I'm not glorying in how much money I got. Keep going.
But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understands and knows me, that I am Yahuwah, which exercises loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, says Yahuwah.
Right? So now if you think about all the stuff that Paul glories about in these books, That's what he's talking about. He's like, man, listen, I know Yahuah, and I know the man is righteous, and he exercises mercy, right? This is what he's glorying about. And so that's why he's trying to tell us, like, look, I understand that y'all think I'm just talking tough in a letter. I'm not. I'm like, as tough as y'all see me in a letter, I'm gonna be that in person. Right? And I know y'all think I'm going outside of my authority, but I'm not. Y'all gave me this. I'm not glorifying myself. I'm not exalting myself above anyone. I'm exalting Yahuah because that's who I know. Right? Let's jump back. Jump into 2 Corinthians 11. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 11. Give me verse 1. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. What does the book say?
Would to God you could bear with me in a little folly, and indeed bear with me. For I am jealous over you with a godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to the Messiah. But I
Right? So
fear
now
lest
he's speaking kind of as a proverb, right? But what he's saying is, he's saying, I've taken you and I've taught you the gospel. In other words, I've espoused you. So in other words, espouse means I've taken you and I've committed you to a man. Right? It would be like me taking my daughter, right? And I see a father of a young man, and I say, you know what? I want to commit my daughter to your son. So when they get older, then they gon', you know what I'm saying, they gonna get married, right? And I want your son to take care of my daughter, and my daughter gonna take care of your son. Can we agree to that? So then we agree, and then we prepare them for each other, right? So I prepare my daughter, and I say, you know what? This is what you need to do. This is the type of, this is gonna be your husband one day, da da da. And so she starts to look forward to that. She starts to get the idea, and she starts to be prepared. He's saying that's what I did for the congregation of Corinthians. He said that's what I did to present them to the Messiah. And y'all are resisting me. Y'all are going out and trying to find a different guy. Right? So it's like me making this deal with this father, and then my daughter get older. She looking like, man, I used to be along with that idea when I was 6, and when I was 7, and when I was 13. But now that I'm 20, I don't want to marry him. And then she go find someone else. And so now I'm jealous because I'm looking like, why you want this? The one that the young man, he got a good father. I know the father. I know that he raised the man right. I don't know nothing about this knucklehead that you found at the mall, right? And so it's like, now I'm jealous because I want you to want the guy that I prepared you for, right? And so that's what he's doing. He's looking at man like, man, I'm jealous after a godly jealousy because I prepared you for Yahushua. And after I prepare him for you, y'all going off on some other stuff. Watch this. Watch what he say.
But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
For if he that cometh preaches another Yahushua, whom we have not preached, or if
What
ye
verse is that?
receive verse 4.
Right. He said, if he have come to you talking about a different Yahushua who we have not preached, what you gonna do?
Or if ye receive another spirit which ye have
Go
not
back
received.
one.
For if he that cometh preaches another Yahushua, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit which ye have not received, or another gospel which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with him.
Right? He said you gonna put up with it. If you get another Yahushua or another spirit or another gospel, you are going to entertain that foolishness. And that's why he's saying he said, I'm telling you, it's like it would be like me with my daughter. Like, look, this knucklehead that you met at the mall, that guy is not it. I'm telling you. I know he pretending, he telling you all the thing, he talking to you night. I'm telling you, he's not it. The one that I'm preparing you for, He's going to treat you right. That is a good man. He's going to lead you along, gets the word. This is what you need. This other guy is going to have you out there being a sinner. You're going to be depressed. You're going to be fighting against him. Who knows what this man will do? Right? But he's saying because this other man kind of presented himself like you and made you feel the same way that you're supposed to feel, right? And explained some things and taught you some things. These things that he taught you and these things that he made you feel and the way that he presents himself is not the same, even though it's made to look like it's the same as what I've been preparing you for. And he's saying, and when that happens, you going to put up with it. You going to entertain it. You going to fall for it. Right? And he compared it back to what Eve did. Right? He compared it to the subtlety of the serpent in the garden with Eve. Because you remember the serpent came to him and he said, listen, you will not surely die. Y'all just know that the moment you eat of that fruit, you're going to become like him, knowing good or evil. Right? And we confirmed that technically everything that the serpent said was true because they did not surely die in that day. Right? Adam lived to be 900 something years old. The Most High God did look at them and say, they have become like us. Right? And immediately when they ate it, they were wise to know good and evil. Right? Those are all facts. But the Most High God cut them off from the tree of life. They could have lived forever in that garden, and they didn't realize that the moment that he cut them off from the tree of life, they died. Just like he said that. He said that they would. Spiritually, they died. Right? And so even though things can look true, even though things might look right, we have to have enough trust in the word of the Most High God that he said don't do it. Right? Even if I can't explain why he said don't do it. He said go. Even if I can't explain why. You think Moses was able to explain? All right, look, we about to go. Which way, Moses? That way. Towards the water. That what you saying? Yeah, that's it. Moses God said go toward the water. He can't explain what's supposed to happen next. You remember he got up, we ain't gotta go get it. You remember he got up against that water, everybody darn panicked. The Egyptian came and closed him in, everybody darn panicked. Moses can't explain, he don't know, but I do know one thing. Most High God said come this way. Right? We so smart that we get to rationalize and everything. But no, God wouldn't want this, that, and other. That can't mean what it say because God loved family. He would never tell nobody to divorce their wife. He would never tell nobody to leave their husband. He would never tell them to kick their darn kid out. That's because you don't know the scripture. If you know the scripture, the Most High God say, if a son or a daughter curse their mom, he deserved to die to death. That's book. That's book. Right? There's nothing in this book that support these myths that these people done taught us. Right? So it's important that we have our mindset perfectly in tune with what the book say. Because if we do, then all these lies that these people try to tell us and all these feelings that we get and all this stuff to try to take us off a path, it won't work. It can't penetrate us no matter what happened. Right? We can move forward and continue with the plan no matter what happened. That is the focus that Yahushua had. You couldn't do nothing with Yahushua. I mean, that's a bad man. You couldn't do nothing with Yahushua. You couldn't do nothing with him. Nothing is taking him off the path. Right? He's very clear on what needs to happen. He's very clear on what the next step was. And nothing was going to take him off the path. Not his friend dying, right? Not somebody coming and telling him how great his mama was. They came and told him how great his mama was. And the man said, yeah, that's good, but it's better. You know what I'm saying? It's better if you obey what the words say. Like nothing takes him off of his focus, whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing. He's always going to be focused on what he's supposed to do. And we just need a little bit of that. right? We need to be able to be a little bit more focused so that nothing takes us off the path, right? And when we have that focus, then the Most High God, he'll add everything else at the end. You know what I'm saying? We just got to trust him. It's just like Moses. He going to take you right up against the water. He going to make you feel this is what God do. Like we got enough book to know what God do, right? He going to take you right up against the water, make you feel like you trapped. There's no way out. And as soon as you get the panicking, he going to make you feel like an idiot. Why you didn't trust me? And then open up the water on your darn butt and be like, dang, I ain't think that was possible. That's all he want from us. He want us to panic and feel like there's no way out. God, I did everything you told me to do. And now I feel like I'm about to die. Right? And as soon as you get to panicking, he make you feel like an idiot. Why didn't you just trust me? I told you to come this way. What, you thought I wasn't going to do nothing for you? Yeah, because you made me feel like that. You know what I'm saying? You literally set up this whole situation to make me feel like that. We know the game plan already. All we got to do is stop resisting it. We be trying to be too cool to tell God we panicking. No, let him know that you panicking. That's what he's looking for. Right? Let him know that you broken, that you hurt, that it's messed up. You don't know what to do. You don't know what's coming next. But while you're doing that, never stop doing what he say. Right? The problem we have is we stop. And then we want to use all that stuff as an excuse. Well, I was scared, Lord. That's why I disobeyed you. Well, no, that's not going to fly. That's not faith. It's not against your faith to question God. It's not against your faith to question his plan. That's not against faith. No, the most faith that you could possibly have is to do exactly what he told you to do while questioning it. Like, man, I don't know what God got me doing. I'm going to do it though. Because that's honest. Look at the men of God in our book. That's how it played out. I don't know what this man want. Abraham scared, terrified. He like, man, look, man told me to go down to Jira. I'm going to go. You know what I'm saying? But he know them boys in Jira is crazy. He went down in the Jira. He looked at that. He like, look, man, just tell him you my sister, all right? He wasn't going to stop. He wasn't going to say, I'm scared to go to Jira because these boys, they'd take my wife in a heartbeat. That's what he was thinking on his way down there. But he wasn't going to say for that reason, I'm not going to go. No, and that he said, I'm going to go, but I don't know what's about to happen when I go there. And he put himself at risk. That's what faith is. Right? When Job was sitting there, Job looking like his wife telling him, man, go ahead and curse. You know what I'm saying? Curse God, man. Just curse God and die. She thinks she telling him something out of mercy. She looking like, listen, the best way to die is if you could. She believed that. She believed like if you curse God, you know God gonna kill you. And what you going through, don't nobody look. Go ahead and curse him because it's like suicide. That's how her faith was so strong that she believed if you curse God, it's like suicide. You're going to die. So she's trying to tell him pretty much, put yourself out your misery. Just curse God so we can kill you. He like, man, you talking like one of these crazy women. You know what I'm saying? You talking to me like one of these crazy women. He looking like, man, look, I got good from God. Man, I'm definitely going to get the bad from God. Now, Job did all that. Did he understand what was going on? He spent the next 30-some chapters questioning God. Like, man, I know you must be up there too busy or something because I know I've been doing what I'm supposed to do. But it's all right, man. If I just had a chance to talk to you up there, you know what I'm saying? Getting like rough. Getting kind of rough. Help me out. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? One day I'm going to get a chance. If I have my day in court, you know what I'm saying? So he kind of laying out all this stuff. And the whole time he's questioning God. And at the very end, what God do? Made him feel stupid. Made him feel small. Suppose I God waited to the very end and told, do you know about this? Were you there when this happened? Was this just made him feel small and stupid? But at the very end, did he get mad at Job? No, he told Job, man, you the only one that spoke right according to me. What? You have to take that, you have to take it into consideration that God is setting this stuff up to make you feel a way. And Job lost all his kids. You understand? This stuff is not like for play. Job lost all his babies and stuck with the plan. And we ain't got no darn excuse. Ain't nothing out here that's supposed to separate us from the Most High God and what the plan is. Just keep with it. Stay focused. Rest of the stuff. Look, Yahushua walking around. He told, look, man, go ahead and follow me. A man went to go follow. He looked like, I'm definitely going to follow you. But let me go bury my daddy first. Yahushua turned around, look at him, let the dead bury the dead. Care nothing about what hurt nobody's feelings? I don't care nothing about how you feel. How you feel has to come second to the Most High God. Talk to me how you feel after you do what I say. That's what I tell my kids too. I hear you out on everything that you got. I hear every word that you want to say. I hear every protest. I want to know exactly how you feel after you do what I told you to do. Soon as you get done with it, let's talk about how you, Dad, I don't think it's fair. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think it's fair that I had to take out the trash 3 times in a row. My brother ain't took out the trash in 7. That's cool. But talk to me about it after you take out the trash. Once the trash is in there and you put it in there and you close the top outside and you come back and you put the trash bag back in. Okay, now sit down. Tell me how that made you feel. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, that was kind of messed up. Your brother did it 3 times? Oh, you know what I'm saying? All right, no, we got to make that thing even. That's my fault, son. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for taking it out, though. Let's talk about it after. I'll fix it. Right? And that's how the Most High God is. Most High God don't want to hear nothing. No, I'm not going to do it first. Let's talk. Yeah, okay. Okay. Keep playing with him. Right? Our mindset got to be, we can't be moved by the stuff that's going on because this stuff is a ruse. This stuff is a temptation. And it's real stuff. It's stuff that we look at and be like, man, this is the end of the world. How am I gonna make it? How am I gonna continue to exist? How am I gonna support all of this? How am I gonna build it? How am I gonna be what I'm supposed to be? How am I gonna take care of my family? How am I? I know. That's the question that he's looking for. But ask it while you're doing what you're supposed to do. Keep going. Where we at? Grab 2 Corinthians. Where we at? 2 Corinthians what? 11?
11 verse. We at 11 verse 5. Wait, hold on. Yep, we have verse 5.
It's 11 chapter. This is second Corinthians chapter 11 verse 5. What's the book say?
For I suppose I was not a whit behind the very chiefest apostles, but though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have been thoroughly made manifest among you in all things. Have I committed an offense? Have I committed an offense in abasing myself that ye might be exalted? I have preached to you the gospel of God freely. I robbed other congregations, taking wages of them to do you service.
Right? So he tell her, he looking like, oh, what? Hold on. I abased myself. In other words, I made myself small and low just so you can hear the gospel. He is like, I robbed other congregations. In other words, I'm collecting money from these other congregations. I didn't charge you nothing for the God. I didn't ask you for no money. I'm funding what I'm doing, right? I'm going to you and I'm looking like, yo, you need to hear this word. You need to hear this word. I travel all the way from This is Paul talking. Came from all the way from Ephesus, right? Came all the way to Corinth. And the ticket I got from that, I used their money to do it. I was like, yeah, y'all Ephesus, go ahead and give me a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? And then we gonna go ahead, you know what I'm saying? So he get a couple dollars from Ephesus. He jump on the train. He go down to Corinth, right? And he used that money to feed himself while he in Corinth. The whole while he feeding himself and nourishing himself so that he's able to teach them. He said, I didn't ask y'all for a dime. I'm robbing other congregations to support y'all, to support the teaching of y'all. Watch this. Keep going.
And when I was present with you and wanted, I was chargeable to no man. For that
He
which was
said,
lacking to
even
me,
when I needed something, I didn't come to none of y'all talking about, look, man, let me borrow. You know what I'm saying? Let me hold, you know what I'm saying? He's like, no, I wasn't chargeable to nobody. What did he do?
for that which was lacking to me, the brethren which came from Macedonia supplied. And in all
Right?
things,
He said,
kept
I
my
had people coming from out of town supplying what I need. I didn't ask y'all for nothing. Right? Keep going. It's a bad man, I'm telling you. Paul, bad boy.
And in all things I have kept myself from being burdensome to you, and so will I keep myself. As the truth of the Messiah is in me, no man shall stop me of this boasting in the regions of Achaia.
Right? So
Wherefore,
he's telling them he already see the play. See, Paul was wise enough to see the play. He knew that if I got to asking for money, if I got to doing all this extra stuff, the type of people that's around here, man, people gonna twist y'all minds and try to use that against me. They gonna say, oh man, he just taking your money. Or he ain't telling you true. He just doing it. He just using y'all for the money. So he saw the play already. He said, man, I ain't charge y'all. Y'all bet not open y'all mouth and say that about me. I ain't charge y'all from nothing. I got people coming way down from Macedonia to supply my needs. Because I ain't got to ask them for nothing. They do it willingly. They jump out. They look like, oh, no, Paul, you're, because they looking at it like, man, we ain't never seen nothing like this. This is Paul. This is the Apostle Paul. He set up this congregation, this congregation, this congregation, this congregation. Like, imagine that. Imagine somebody coming through, humble, meek, come through, set up multiple congregations on the move, suffering, taking stones for the gospel. You know what I'm saying? Almost dying, ducking, hiding, in jail, come out. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's the real deal. It's not like no one of these fancy preachers that, yeah, they got the numbers that Paul might got, but then they sitting in there, you don't never see them. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't putting their life on the line for nothing. None of that, and they not teaching nothing. You leave that congregation empty. You didn't learn nothing. They teach the same 5 topics and rotate them and just fricassee them, flip them up a little bit. He like, man, nah, they looking at the real deal. They look like, nah, it's the guy. So the ones that appreciate it and know it, they looking like, nah, man, what you need? I'll come from Macedonia right now and I'll get you together. Where you at, Corinth? Man, nah, I'll hook you up right now. What you need? You need a new tent? And we got a new tent for you. Don't even worry about it. What you need? You need food? Don't worry. We're going to bring, you know what I'm saying? We're going to bring some grain. It'll last you a long time. Whenever you hungry, you take care of it. They making sure that he taking care of all these cities because he built up the gospel in their cities, right? So now he's talking to the people of Corinth and he letting them know, he looking like, look, y'all may let these people twist y'all brain up, right? But I'm telling you who y'all are and I'm telling you who I am. He like, when I met y'all, I taught y'all the gospel. Now y'all kind of veering off into a different area, but that don't change nothing. Y'all still who I birthed, right? And he said, I didn't ask y'all for a dime. Anything I needed, I got it from somebody else. I got it from the people that willingly gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't ask y'all for nothing. And can't nobody take away my boast. I'm a brag about this. He said, this is one thing I'm a brag about. There's no way you could come to me and talk about I asked you for something or I needed something from you or this, that, another. Nope. I don't trust it. Go back, grab Genesis. Give me Genesis. What I want. Genesis 14? Give me Genesis chapter 14, probably the 31st verse. Where Tia, look, if I get this one, this Genesis chapter 14, verse 31. It feel good when I say it. You know what I'm saying? Tia, if I get this one, I ain't read this since the last time we read it. So if I get this one, Tia, you go.
Genesis what?
Genesis 14:31. That probably ain't even gonna be a verse. I just don't even go to 41. I mean 31. For real? Okay. All right. Genesis. So if it go to 24, that's Genesis 14. Only go to 24. Give me Genesis. That was more than 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It was like 4 weeks ago. 5.
You want 17?
Verse 17.
Yeah. You want when Abraham interaction with Melchizedek?
Nah. I want Abraham. And right before that. I want his interaction with the king of Sodom. So if that's 17, if Melchizedek is 17, then I'll probably want 14. So maybe Genesis chapter 14, verse 14.
All right. And when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed and trained his trained servants.
How
born
many
in-
of them?
What?
Keep going.
He armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan.
Man, I'm telling you, if they give me the budget, I make. Y'all seen the movie 300? And the movie we make it be way better. 300, we call it 318. You know what I'm saying? We call it 318, a Abraham story. You know what I'm saying? You got to do something to get the Gentiles in there. A Abrahamic story. You know what I'm saying? Got to throw something on there. 318, a motion picture. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Man, we light these boys up. Keep going. Let's see what it says.
And he divided himself against them, he and his servants by night, and smote them, and pursued them to Hobah, which is on the left hand, unto Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and brought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also, and the people.
Right? So he brought back all the what?
All the people.
Before that, he said he brought back all the goods. Right? So all the goods he got. In other words, he got all the wealth. So he whooped out all these kings, and then he got all of their wealth and took it from them because he won. That's what happens when you win a war. You win and you get to take everything. So he took everything and he brought back all the women, all the people, everybody that was taken, he brought them back. And then watch what happened next.
And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedolamer, and all the kings that were with him, and the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him and said, "Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High God, which has delivered thine enemies into thine hand." And he gave him tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, "Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself."
Right? So now he said, okay, look, here's the deal. Because you got to understand, the king of Sodom was done a favor by Abraham just now. The king of Sodom just got terrorized. Right? So then Abraham came and saved the day. He got all the goods and got all the people. So the king of Sodom was like, he trying to strike a deal with him because that's how most people play. He looking like, all right, listen, I know you got all the goods. You keep all that to yourself. Because remember, that's the king of Sodom stuff. It was stolen from him. So the king of Sodom is looking like, look, you can keep the goods. I don't even want that. Just give me my people back. Right? Then watch what Abraham said.
And Abram said to the king of Sodom, "I have lifted up my hand unto Yahuah, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread, even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine. Lest thou
Right? He said, I'm not taking nothing that is yours. He said, I got all this stuff. I know it was yours. He said, but none of it that's yours, I'm taking. I raise my hand and I swear before God. Right? I'm not taking nothing that was yours. Why would Abraham say that? Let's hear.
Lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich."
Right? Now you gonna be able to take away my boast. You gonna try to say you made me rich. No, the Most High God made me rich. Right? He's saying you gonna be able to take away my boast. So this is what Paul is saying. Paul's in there like, no, I didn't ask y'all for a dime, and I did it intentionally. I don't want nothing from y'all because I know y'all gonna try to take away my boast. Somebody gonna twist y'all head up. They gonna give y'all a different gospel, a different Messiah, and y'all gonna bear with that stuff. Y'all gonna put up with it. Y'all gonna entertain that foolishness. Then y'all gonna come back to me and just be like, man, you was probably just trying to steal. The brother told me you were just trying to steal our money. Yeah, okay, for sure. Yeah, like, nah, we gonna bypass that. Y'all gonna have to deal with the fact that y'all just are not paying attention to what I'm teaching and walking away for your own. But you never gonna be able to say it's because of money. You say, I see the play already. Right? Let's jump back. This is 2 Corinthians. Jump over to chapter 12.
"It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Master. I knew a man in the Messiah above 14 years ago, whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell. God knows. Such a one caught up to the third heaven. And I knew such a
To the
man,
what?
third heaven.
So remember, we talk about the third heaven. We talk about the heaven of heavens, right? So, you kind of look at heaven as the area or the space above. Remember, heaven means firmament, right? Firmament is like a space or an expanse. So when he said the third heaven, he's talking about the expanse or the space that's above another space that's above another space. So he's saying pretty much the vision that he had was about the third heaven. So it's way out there. You know what I'm saying? The way I like to imagine it is what we consider like the atmosphere or the atmospheres. I don't know how far they go up. They got all these different spheres. All this stuff that we would consider, the atmosphere, that would be heaven, the first heaven. And I like to imagine that the second heaven is what we think of as outer space, right? But then there's some even further beyond that that would be considered the third heaven. And that's where Yahuah is. All right, keep going.
And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell, God knows, how that he was caught up into the paradise and heard unspeakable words, which is not lawful for a man to utter. Of such a one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in my infirmities. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be, or that he heareth of me. Unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this
Right? So
thing,
he's saying there's a thorn in his flesh, right? That buffets him. In other words, it's punishing him, right? So he has a thorn that's there in his flesh that punishes him. And he says the reason for that thorn is to keep himself from exalting himself, right? So you have to understand that sometimes it's stuff that's challenging in your life and difficult in your life just to keep you from thinking of yourself too much. And you have to accept it. You have to say, you know what? If it was supposed to be different, it would be different because I'm doing what the Most High God say do. Now, if you're not doing what the Most High God say do, then you don't know what's right. You don't know what's supposed to be happening or not. But when you align your life to make sure that you obeying the Most High God, you taking the right path, you focus on His word, you doing what you're supposed to do, and still it's tough stuff happening, you know it's supposed to, right? You know things are as they should be when that happens. Keep going.
for this thing I besought the master 3 times that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most
Mm-hmm.
gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of the Messiah may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses, for the Messiah's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong. I am
All right,
become
what verse is that?
10.
Grab Deuteronomy chapter 7 for me. All right, this is Deuteronomy chapter 7. We're going to start at verse 6. Right? He told him, he said, look, man, it was a thorn in my darn flesh. And that thing was buffeting me. In other words, it was punishing me. And I beg y'all 3 times, please take this. Whatever that thorn was, he's speaking metaphorically or he's speaking as a parable, right? But whatever it was that was giving him a challenge, whether it's like, it could be a disease or it could be, what I'm saying, like some type of ache or, maybe an aching back or something like that. Because the man did get stoned, right? He did go through a lot. So it's some type of something, or maybe it was a person. It could be a person that just constantly was at him and bothering them and messing with him, right? Whatever it was that he was dealing with, he begged 3 times for the Most High God to take it away from him. And then the one time the Most High God responded to him and was like, listen, my grace is sufficient. You know what I'm saying? Right? My power is made perfect when you are weak. And so, in other words, you have to imagine that. You have to imagine something that really is bothering you and you praying to the Most High God, like, God, just Just please take this away from me. You know what I'm saying? I want to teach your word, God. It's hard for me to stand in Bible study with my back. You know what I'm saying? My back, I can't stand for long periods of time, but standing is the only way I can get the word across. And God, allow me to teach your word the way you want me to teach your word and remove this pain from my back. And you think about that, you looking like God couldn't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine that. Like God couldn't have a problem with that. Maybe it's someone in your jaw. It's like, yeah, my jaw messed up. God, I'm trying to speak, but I can only speak for 30 minutes at a time because my jaw start to ache. And you looking at it like, of course God wants me to teach his word, right? There's nothing like there. Why in the world would God want to stand in the way? So clearly this is of Satan. That's what Paul is just telling. He is like, it's a thorn in my side from Satan. He said, clearly this is of Satan. Listen, y'all, if you don't mind, would you mind just taking, go back real quick. We got in Deuteronomy because we got to read that. But go back real quick. Take me back where he said the thorn in his side, it was from Satan. What verse is that?
7.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter what is it? 12? 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7. What does the book say?
And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure.
Right? So he said this is a messenger of Satan that's causing this. Right? Notice what he didn't do. Notice that he didn't say, hey, Satan, get thee behind me. No, what did he do? Watch what he said.
For this thing I besought the master 3 times that it might depart.
I besought who?
The master.
He said, I besought Yahuah 3 times over this mess. I'm not about to sit here and have a conversation with Satan or through his messenger. Yo, you better stop. What? That's great. I besought I besought Yah 3 times for this, asking him to take it away from me. Go back to Deuteronomy 7. Asking him to take this away from me. We have to understand how to address our issues. And when we look at it, and when I'm saying, look, man, my jaw messed up. I know God want me to preach. Imagine the Most High God coming back to you and saying, you know that you're doing what you're supposed to do. And you know that whatever this ailment is or whatever this situation is, you know what I'm saying, somebody bothering you. You know what I'm saying? You trying to teach the word, and every time you teach the word, a heckler come up and be like, nah, Christians is what we need to be. We supposed to be Muslims. All religions are the same. You know what I'm saying? Just a heckler always interrupting your teaching and throwing you off or something like that. In your mind, there is no way that God wants that to happen, because God wants his word to get out to everybody, right? So why in the world would God let somebody stand in my way when I'm trying to get his word out? So you know what you do? You pray to God. You say, God, take this man away from me. You know what I'm saying? Don't let him come in. I can't do nothing. I want to punch him. I can't do nothing to him, Lord. Just do something for me. Get him out of here so I can further your kingdom, right? And you looking at it like, this makes perfect sense. Of course God will be on my side with this. Imagine God coming back to you and be like, nah, you good. When he say, my grace is sufficient, that's another way of saying, nah, you good. It could be worse. When he say my grace is sufficient, he's telling you it could be worse. It really should be worse. Right? He's saying this is the light pack. That's what he's saying. He's saying the grace that I've already given you is enough. So he's telling you really it could be worse. My grace is sufficient. And he's saying when you weak, in other words, whoever this is probably getting the better of you. When you're weak, that's when I'm strong. That's when my strength is shown. That's when my strength is made perfect. That's when everybody can see I'm the one that's taking care of you. Right? So that's what Paul is trying to get across to them. I didn't ask y'all for no money, and I'm not going to ask y'all for no money, because I know if y'all do that, y'all going to take my boast away. Right? And the Most High God is saying the same thing. I'm not giving you no more to him because he's looking like, man, you gonna exalt yourself. I didn't showed you too much. I showed you this vision up in the third heaven. Now you know all this stuff, and now you gonna mess around and exalt yourself and get to thinking like, oh no, I'm the Lord Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like he's looking at him like, nah, I already know how you is, Paul. If I give you too much, you gonna go and run with it. So he's telling you, my grace is sufficient. And he's probably telling us without saying those words to us, a lot of us the same way. We get to calling ourselves righteous for a week and a darn half. You know what I'm saying? Lord, it's been a whole week and a half and I ain't committed no sin. I'm doing everything you told me to do. Why are things still rough? Why all these negative things happen to me? Why can't I this, that, and the other? And he looking at you like he ain't saying the words to us. We don't hear it. We don't have a prophet to tell us, and we ain't prophets to hear from him and most of us. But you know what I'm saying? Without saying it, he telling us, no, what I gave you is enough. My grace is sufficient. Right? It's sufficient. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. Watch what the book say.
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God, and Yahuah thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Yahuah did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any people. For you were the fewest of all people, but because Yahuah loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers.
Because he will what?
Keep the oath that he had sworn unto your fathers, as Yahuah brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, of bondmen.
We have to understand his grace is sufficient. Right? We didn't get let out of Egypt because we was righteous in Egypt. Most High God was looking at us like that's a very righteous and strong people, and it's a lot of them. Let me take them. No, he said it wasn't because of our number and because we was righteous. He said he did it because he keeping the oath to Abraham. So we're getting the benefit. We're in slavery in Egypt and don't even realize we are getting the benefit of what Moses got. So while we crying out like, Yah, save us, please save us. You know what I'm saying? Send somebody to save us. Moses pop up and he do just that. But all that is the benefit of Abraham and the promise that was the oath that was given to him. Right? That's how we have to look at this stuff. A lot of this stuff could be worse if he removed his hand from us. Right? It could be worse. It should be worse. Jump over to chapter 13. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 13. Give me verse 1. Let's go ahead and wrap up.
This is the third time I am coming to you. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established. I told you before and foretell you as if I were present the second time. And being absent now, I write to them which heretofore have sinned, and to all others, that if I come again, I will not spare. Since ye seek a proof of the Messiah speaking in me, which to you word is not weak, but is mighty in you. For though he was crucified through weakness, yet he lives by the power of God. For we also are weak in him, but we shall live with him by the power of God toward you. Examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves? How that the
Right?
Messiah
He said,
is in you?
examine yourself whether you be in the faith. That is our job. Prove your own self. That is our job. We supposed to be looking, paying attention to our own behavior, our own life, our own thoughts, and then applying what we see in the scripture to our life, our thoughts, our behavior. Right? As a way of proving, right, whether or not we are in the faith. And we have to answer that question. Each person got to answer that question for themselves. I can tell you till I'm blue in the faith, whether I think you in the faith or not. Right? But at the end of the day, you have to answer that question for yourself. Because if you're not, you can answer it and lie to yourself and say, yep, I'm in the faith, even though you sinning. You still gonna go into the fire, you still gonna burn forever. Right? And you can tell yourself, man, I don't know, I'm not in the faith, even though you're doing everything you're supposed to do. I don't know how that one will work out. Then you tell yourself you're not in the faith, you know what I'm saying? But You know what I'm saying? I guess according to the scripture, it's based off of your deeds. So if you doing what you're supposed to do, even if you told yourself you wasn't in the faith, guess what? You still gonna go into the kingdom, right? So it's like it don't matter what I tell you or what you tell yourself. All that matters is what really happened. So be honest with yourself about where you are, and then do something about it. But that's what he's telling them to do. He said, examine yourself. Watch this.
Examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that the Messiah is in you, except ye be reprobates? But I trust that ye shall know that we are not reprobates. Now I pray to God that ye do no evil, not that we should appear approved, but that ye should do that which is honest, though we be as reprobates. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. For we are glad when we are weak, and ye are strong. And this also we wish, even your perfection. Therefore I write these things, being absent, lest being present I should use sharpness, according to the power which the Messiah has given to me, to edification, and not to destruction. Finally, brethren, farewell. Be perfect, be of good comfort, be of one mind, live in peace, and the God of love and peace shall be with you. Greet one another with a holy kiss. All the saints salute you. The grace of the Messiah, our Lord Yahushua, and the love of God, and the communion of the Holy Spirit be with you all. Amen.
All right, so that's all the books, or that's both of the books of Corinthians. So next week, I think we move on to Romans, right? Because remember, oh no, maybe not. I think we might have to jump into Acts. We're gonna have to get into Acts, um, and I think any questions? I'm not sure if we having a fellowship call tomorrow, or I shouldn't say it that way. I'm not sure if I'll be joining the fellowship call tomorrow. There is a chance that I will not. I will let y'all know for sure in the band app. But for right now, Sabbath peace. And yeah, talk to y'all later. Let's pray out.